Donald Trump is like an old boyfriend who you broke up with, but he just won't go away. He has spent the last 4 years spinning the block, trying to get back into a relationship with the American people. Bro, we broke up with you for a reason.
The Republicans are having a very hard time counterpointing hope and joy. They just do not, after 20 years of this insane anger, which this is their only mode, they just do not know how to do anything to combat this. And it's one of the reasons why Harris Walls, I think, is starting to run away with this at this point.
So to address a few points there, one, you're exactly right. Obviously, I think it's due to a couple of factors. It's due to, as you said, the what I was pointing out before about Reagan. I mean, I think the reason why he intimidated Democrats so much is because, again, I would argue with most of his policies, and frankly, most strongly on economics, it's where we diverted from being the country we've been for 50 years, and started having these vast disparity in wealth. And I won't go into all of it. I think a lot of Reagan's policies, quite frankly, sucked. But he was this sort of happy, smiling, face of conservatism. So was Jack Kemp, who served in, his administration. They had people like that who were charismatic and happy and smart. Think of someone like Tom Cotton sitting on TV, who honestly I think looks like a serial killer when he's sitting there answering questions on television. Like, I'm actually scared. I wouldn't want my children near him. And he's maybe one of the few, although he lied about his service as a ranger, so he of course is weird too. But he's one of the few that probably hasn't actually committed a crime, at least that I'm aware of. He just lies about his military service. But I mean, the fact that they've gotten to this point, so part of it's that, but part of it is that conservatism has just been so getting further and further debased, and their last chance was when Donald Trump stepped in the breach that had been created by Mitch McConnell's refusing to appoint Supreme Court justices and empowering, con men like Newt Gingrich in their party and that kind of thing. People that did not care about policy, that only cared for power, were completely agnostic when it came to policy, except for if it could hurt people that were different than them in the other party, they were with it. Otherwise, it was all about power. And they you need to snuff that out immediately. And that's why when I see that in the Democratic Party, and I won't get into all of that here, but when I see figures like that, I attack them. I go after them because we don't want that. I don't care what your policies are. We don't want that. And so it devolved, right? The poster of like humans evolving and standing further up. The Republican Party is crawling further down. It's like a backwards poster. And what you get is this angry, snarling conservatism that everyone is so exhausted by. And Donald Trump is obviously the largest embodiment of it, of anybody. I mean, all he does is hurl personal insults. But of course, again, the ones I named before, Ted Cruz and Rand Paul and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're just evil, insecure, angry, just, people they just, throw out conspiracies and attack people and attack the way all sorts of Americans live, attack our own country and call our country horrible all the time. I mean, they're awful. And so how do you, when that's your face that you're putting out there, how can you counter, the fact that Kamala and Tim Walz are such charismatic, happy figures, and it just worked out perfectly that they are even in different ways.
Well, Donald Trump is running scared. House Republicans are running scared. Extreme MAGA Republicans are running scared because the focus right now is going to turn back to Project 2025, which is the Trump plan to end America and our values and our path forward as we know it, to turn back the clock. The focus is going to be on the extreme Supreme Court justices who ripped away reproductive freedom from the women of America. The focus is going to be on Trump and his policies of trying to enact big tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. And we're going to be able to contrast that with our vision of putting people over politics, fighting for lower costs, ending price gouging, defending democracy, standing up for a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions, and growing the middle class.